So you're saying that I don't have to keep calling my loan officer 5, 6 times saying, what's the status of my loan? I would get to know of it proactively, where I'll get a message saying, okay, your loan has progressed from this stage to this stage, and maybe even give an estimated time for close.
Yes, the future is happening right now. We're already there.
We were talking about how AI makes things better for the lenders. I'm wondering from a borrower perspective, from the end customer experience perspective, what role do you see AI playing in that area?
So now there's chatbots and voice AI, which is able to respond back to the borrower's questions without human intervention. Not just that, we are also predicting what the borrower may want to know at periodic intervals, and we are pushing information to them. So less phone calls to receive and less messages to respond back to, because you're already out there, you're taking care of the borrower's ask before the borrower knows about it. So this is all possible thanks to AI.
I love that. So you're saying that I don't have to keep calling my loan officer 5, 6 times saying, what's the status of my loan? I would get to know of it proactively, where I'll get a message saying, okay, your loan has progressed from this stage to this stage, and maybe even give an estimated time for close.
Yes, the future is happening right now. We're already there.
Right. And especially in this day and age where I think, I want to be careful how I say it, but I think we as consumers have been spoiled. We want everything, we want it now, and we want it instantaneously. And I think AI is kind of making some of those things possible, because we are increasingly seeing that in general, customers are getting less patient and they want everything, they want it quickly, and they want it now.
Yeah, we are the now generation.
So Ritesh, we've been talking about all the fantastic benefits of using AI. And we saw the advantages in terms of speed, consistency, all of those aspects, both for the lenders as well as the borrowers. But I think we both know that AI is not a magic wand, and everything is not all rosy and as seamless as that. So let's talk a little bit about some of the challenges that we have with implementing AI in the mortgage space.
One thing is, a lot of our LOS systems are still very legacy. If they don't open up their APIs, it's hard for us to go collect the data and documents that AI needs to work on. Also, if we have bad documents or bad data to start with, such as the scan quality being really bad on the PDF, or just incorrect data being available, AI is going to process that data and the results are not going to be very meaningful. So those are some things that we need to watch out for. But as time progresses, it will get better.
Right. But you raised an important point even about the LOS implementation, right? Because sometimes it seems like there's such a big gap, because some of the LOS which have been around for a long time, they've not necessarily evolved. And it almost is like trying to install iOS 20 on a flip phone. It's so excruciatingly hard to be able to do some of those things. Let's also look at it from a compliance perspective, right? Besides what we just said, do you see any challenges from a compliance perspective?
So a lot of the investors, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and also the regulators, the states, the CFPB, they're still formulating their AI policies. And so we will see some changes as we move forward, but AI is now explainable. There is, it's no more a black box. We are able to explain why a decision was made by the AI. So although, the regulation itself is going to change, the policies are going to change, it will still be easy for us to comply.
Right. And I think that's very true. And I think even the guidelines clear about that, because one of the challenges that we have is that because of the way we train documents and we train AI itself to make decisions, a lot of times you're using historical data. And if there was any kind of bias in the historical data, that's only going to get amplified and get a lot worse. So we need to be careful about how AI behaves in those particular instances.
That's where we are trying to bring in the human in the loop so that there is always a supervisor who validates the results and the output from AI. And we just don't allow AI to, go crazy on its own. There is guardrails, there is measures, there's the human in the loop that helps sort of plug that gap.
Right. I think that's very true. And like as you said earlier, one of the things that the regulators have made very clear is that there has to be explainability. It's basically, if you can't explain it, if you can't say why it arrived at the decision, you can't use it. So you can't really hide behind AI and say, I don't know, the system made the decision. You have to be able to say why. If not, you can't use a system like that.
Especially in underwriting, you can't reject the borrower and not have the right reasoning on why their file was rejected.
Right. So let's extrapolate from here, right? We can see all that is already happening, and it's interesting the rate at which it's happening, the pace at which it's happening. So let's look forward to the next, say, maybe 3 to 5 years. What do you think is going to happen in terms of the mortgage, and what kind of expectation can borrowers have and lenders have in this?
So we certainly are seeing the 30-day mortgages becoming more of a 10-day mortgage. I'm sure the technology will allow us to get to a 3-day mortgage. Now, whether the trade guidelines will allow us to do a 3-day mortgage remains to be seen. But certainly the technology will be there, especially where we get appraisals waived. So AI will enable a home buyer, to make a decision and move into a home very, very quickly and make it much more easier to do streamlined refinances.
Right. And also, I'm hoping even from a people perspective, that it means that people will be able to move more into roles of decision making and not just looking at tasks which can easily be automated as well.
Higher value activity, yes.
So thank you very much, Ritesh. And the message is close fast, close clean, keep innovating, and let's take mortgage to the next level, I suppose.
Yeah, and I'd like to add, if you're not already doing it, start small, experiment, and embrace AI.
I think that's very true and very important because, as you were saying earlier, I don't think it's about people. I think companies that use AI are going to replace companies that don't. And that's inevitable. And so I would encourage all of us to look at what the possibility is and embrace that possibility and evolve and move to the next level.
Great
Thank
talking
you.
to you, David.
Thank you.